How to record payments. In this video, I will review how to record various types of payments. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, select Record Payments. In this first example, I will be demonstrating a handwritten check to a parent for a refund for my spring season. Enter the date of the payment. The system will default to today's date. I will enter in my check number of 8662. The default option is Miscellaneous. When using the Miscellaneous option, none of your payment history can be easily tracked. So for suppliers that I pay often, I would not want to use this option. Since I will only issue one refund check to this parent, I will use the Miscellaneous option and type in the parent's name. By default, the primary cash account is selected. Verify the bank account this payment is being made from. Note that bank accounts must be established with the AYSO National Office. If you need to set up a new bank account, please contact the National Office first. I will select the NAP account code. I can manually type the desired account code, or I can select from the listing of account descriptions if I do not remember the NAP code. I will select 4006 Registration Fee Refunds. Dimensions can be very beneficial for tracking and reporting purposes. I highly recommend you watch the Dimensions video to understand the range of how to use dimensions for your region. In this example, I am recording a refund payment for my spring season. I will select the Type 1 dimension of spring and leave the Type 2 dimension blank. Enter the amount of the refund. Select the Add Item button. Anything entered into the Transaction Memo field is searchable in the Transaction Search function. I'm going to add the Transaction Memo Refund for Sally Smith. Make sure the total showing here matches your payment amount. You can edit a line with the pencil icon or remove it with the X or delete icon. Next, select the Process Payment button to record the entire transaction. I have saved a copy of the email from the parent requesting a refund, which I am going to attach to this transaction. I'm going to select Add an Attachment. Next, I'll add a description for my attachment and select the Choose File button to search for my file. Then select Add New. I have now completed posting a payment and uploading its supporting documents. In the second example, I will be demonstrating a handwritten check to the Home Depot for various supplies for my spring season. Enter the date of the payment. I will enter my check number of 8663. In the first example, I use the default option of Miscellaneous, but there are other options when I select the drop-down. The Customer option is linked to the Accounts Receivable tab and is normally used on deposits or used to track bank fees for your credit card vendors. In this example, I will select Suppliers, which is the best method to use in order to track payment history. All suppliers must be created first. For information on setting up suppliers, watch the How to Create a Supplier video. I'm going to select this option and then select the supplier Home Depot. Verify the bank account this payment is being made from. Since I selected suppliers, the default account code is 2010 Accounts Payable. If you are not going to use the Accounts Payable tab located here, you must change this account code to the correct NAP expense account code. You can manually type your desired account code, or you can select from the listing of account descriptions if you do not remember the NAP code. I will select 5111 Field Expense. In this example, I am recording a payment for various field expenses for my spring season, which include paint, trash cans, and lawn care items. I will select Dimension Type 1 of Spring, and I will select Paint as my Type 2 dimension to give me further detail on reports. I will enter $100. Select the Add Item button. You can enter numerous line items per transaction. I will enter my next items of trash cans and lawn care by repeating the same steps. Remember to always select the Add Item button after each line. I notice that the total showing here does not match my payment amount. To edit a line, select the pencil icon. I can make an adjustment to the NAP code, dimensions, and amount. Then select the green check mark to update the line item. Remember, anything entered in the Transaction Memo field is searchable in the Transaction Search function. I'm going to add the Transaction Memo Spring Season Field Supplies. Next, select Process Payment to record the entire transaction. I have a PDF file of my receipt from the Home Depot which I'm going to attach to this transaction. I'm going to select Add an Attachment. Next, I'll add a description and select the Choose File button to search for my file. Then select Add New. I have now completed recording a payment and uploading its supporting documents. In this example, I want to show the use of customers in the payment screen. As mentioned earlier, if you are set up to use a credit card vendor, this method would be a way of tracking merchant fees associated with that vendor. Enter the date the fees were processed on your bank statement. The reference number will automatically generate. I will select the customer option from the drop-down, and I will select my credit card vendor. Verify the bank account. Since I selected customer, the default account code is 1300 accounts receivable. If you are not going to use the accounts receivable tab located here, you must change this account code to the correct NAP account code. I will select 8305 bank fees. Select dimension type 1 of spring and enter the amount of $15.67. Select the Add Item button. I'm going to add the transaction memo, credit card fees. Make sure the total showing here matches your payment amount. Next, select Process Payment to record the entire transaction. One of the features of NAP Online is the ability to print checks from your printer. NAP Online uses a specific check format that can be purchased from CompuChecks.com. In this example, I will be demonstrating how to record a payment for a check that I will print later on my printer. Since I will be printing this check later, I will mark the box Check to be Printed, and the system will assign a reference number. This will not be the check number. I will again select Supplier and choose True Green. Verify the bank account this payment is being made from. Since I selected Suppliers, the default account code is 2010 Accounts Payable. I am not going to use the Accounts Payable tab, so I will change this account code to the correct NAP expense code of 5111 Field Expenses. In this example, I am recording a payment for field maintenance for my spring season. I will first select the Type 1 dimension of spring. Next, I will select the Type 2 dimension of landscaping. Enter the amount of the invoice and add the item. I will enter the memo Spring Landscaping. Make sure the total showing here matches your payment amount. Next, select Process Payment to record the entire transaction. I have a PDF file of my invoice which I am going to attach to this transaction. To print this check, select Print Checks from the Banking and General Ledger tab. Instructions for how to print checks can be found here, as well as how to order checks from CompuChecks.com.